Everyone's a victim!
Missiles, missiles, missiles. We're not content. We are not content with just a nice weekend here in the great country of America. No, no, no. We got to blow shit up. Escalating in Russia as our bombs drop on beachgoers in Russia. I don't know, man. I just don't feel comfortable at all. I think our government is so desperate and they can feel the walls closing in, and that's where they're the most dangerous, folks. That's where they are the most dangerous. I think these people are just desperate to get this thing going. Get this thing going so that no matter what happens in this election, less than 140 days away. Chris, are you ready? Christian Perello over there in the booth. Camera's not on him today, but he's over there.
I'm here.
What's up, man?
What's going on?
What's going on? Now, you are 26 years old. Is that correct?
27.
27?
Yep, getting closer to 30.
27. So what do you think about Congress passing a law that automatically enlists all men and women 18 to 26 are now eligible for the draft here in the United States? Why do they keep talking about a draft? What's that about?
I don't know. Never heard of it. Never heard that. Don't really watch the news, so just hearing this now for the first time.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Well,
26, though, so I'm out.
Seems like it. You'll definitely not the first wave. Not the first wave.
Why 18 to 26? Why not 30?
Well, that's a great question. I think the reason why our military tends to be younger, and now like you get to be an adult. Like I'm basically a middle-aged man at this point. And you look at 18-year-olds, you look at 19-year-olds, and you're like, my God, those are kids. You know, those are soldiers, but those are kids. You know, and I think me at my age, I think I'd be a better soldier. I'd be a better fighter. I'd be a lot of things than an 18-year-old kid. But what I wouldn't be is obedient. I would ask questions. I wouldn't be like when I was 18 years old. It was, the Muslims did 9/11. Screw all the Muslims. You know, you get very jingoistic, very xenophobic. You're very easy to manipulate. You're a kid. You're emotional. You're running hot. You feel like you got to prove yourself to the world. I'm man enough. I'm man. I'll go over there and kill everybody. You know, you don't think for a second, wait, you know. Now they're talking about Saudi Arabia. I believe, you can look this up for me, but weren't 11 of the hijackers Saudis? Weren't they from Saudi Arabia? Welcome to Gerard versus Evil, folks. We're fired up here on this Sunday. This great Sunday in the year of our Lord 2024. In the late stage empire that was once the great city on the shining hill. Shining city on the hill. And then our deep state is rogue, boy. Rogue. New Twitter files apparently are coming out soon. Alex Berenson, one of the last actual journalists alive, apparently has more information on Pfizer conspiring with the United States government, the White House in particular, the highest office in the land, to censor everyday citizens. These people serve us. Do you feel like they're serving you? Or do you feel like they're your bosses? Do you feel like these are public servants? That these are people that are there to help you, there to serve you? Or do you feel like this is the ruling class, that these are the new aristocrats? They tell you what to do. They talk over you. I can't stand these congressional hearings, the way that they speak to American citizens. Like, how dare you? Who do you think you are? You are a public servant. You are not the Duke and Duchess. You are definitely not the King and Queen. I find it grotesque. I find it disgusting. I find everything happening with our government just to be so gross. So just turns the fibers of my being inside out and upside down. There's just nothing. There is nothing our government does anymore that I just agree with. It's a remarkably shitty place to be in, where I just don't think these people Well, listen, we have two options here, right? We have two options. Either these people are ignorant and they can't do the job, or they're evil, and that's why they're doing a bad job, right? They're not leaving us any good options here. Either they're bad at their job because they're dumb, or they're bad at their job because they're evil. Doesn't really matter anymore. I just want somebody who's not completely terrible at the job. You know, how are we going to get there? How are we going to get there? Do you think these people are as bad? Do you think Putin is as bad at the job as our guys are? Like, that's the other side of it, right? Like, we talk about Richard Nixon, who's getting kind of like he's getting his flowers here in the afterlife because it looks like he got railroaded by the CIA. But I don't even know. What do we want to talk about today, Chris? What do we want to talk about? We got 20 minutes here. I want to talk.
What is your thought? I mean, this is going back
a
long time, but what do we think about George Floyd? The whole
George Floyd. What makes you think about George Floyd today?
I don't know. There's just been a lot of memes going around lately.
Memes going around?
And I don't know. I just wanted to revisit that.
What do I think about George Floyd? I think George Floyd was an American citizen. He wasn't a good guy. George Floyd was in no stretch of the imagination a saint or somebody that should be revered or martyred. But he didn't deserve to die for what he did. And whether you believe the cop killed him or not, the cop certainly didn't help him. The cop certainly didn't help him not die, Derek Chauvin, and the other guy, the Asian guy that got off scot-free, that was really bad at his job. And that's their job. Their job is to protect and serve, and I just don't think Derek Chauvin was protecting or serving George Floyd in that moment. Do I think Derek Chauvin deserves to spend the rest of his life in jail? No, I don't. Do I think that George Floyd, if it wouldn't have been George Floyd, it would have been somebody else. The NGOs, the progressive action fronts, the Marxists that have infiltrated our political system, were just waiting for something. If it wasn't George Floyd, it would have been somebody else. These are trained Marxists. They don't hide that. Patrice Cullors with Black Lives Matter talked about being a trained Marxist, that these people are community organizers. That's what Obama did in Chicago. He was a quote unquote community organizer. AOC worked as a community organizer. We're worried about Republicans and Democrats, but nobody knows who Justice Democrats are. Nobody knows what Act Blue is. Nobody knows what Media Matters is. And these kind of extremist nonprofit NGOs, these are the boots on the ground. These are the action fronts. And if it wasn't George Floyd, it would have been something else. They would have taken something somewhere and blown it up because that's what they were going to do. That's what they wanted. And you know what? If they didn't find one, guys, they'd probably create one. Now, this calls into question, do I think the entire quote unquote summer of love, that racial reckoning, as they like to say it, was inorganic? Yeah, I do. I think it was completely and totally inorganic. I think follow the money. This is just one man's opinion, but Trump was in the middle of taking the money away from all of the global elites. He had pulled us out of the WHO. He had pulled us out of the Paris Accords. He had put tariffs on China, okay? He was talking to NATO about paying their bills. So all of these people, we're talking NATO, we're talking the UN, we're talking China, we're talking the Catholic Church, we're talking the British monarchs, said this populist has to go. He's costing us hundreds of billions of dollars. And do I believe that these globalists conspired with China? Yeah, I do. And I'm sick of hiding it. I absolutely do. I don't think anything that benefits. Do you ever notice that the same people benefit from everything that always happens? The same people benefit. And then it just goes away and no one talks about it anymore. Does it ever occur to anybody like, China owes everybody trillions of dollars for shutting the world off for years? No. Because people used it as an excuse to get what they wanted. How much money got funneled to the people at the top? Say, put a mask on if it saves just one life. And the second that the masks come off, the bombs start flying again. It's ridiculous. It's a joke. It's a joke. You'd have to be so obtuse. And now the crazy thing is that so many people know that they've been lied to for so long that they just turn off completely. And that's what you're talking about, Chris. They just turn off. But if you turn off completely, then you wake up one day and your number gets called in a draft and you're like, what? There was a draft? Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Now what? Now what? You know, this is the idea. And you take 30 minutes out of your day, listen to me, and I'll get you caught up. And that's why you're listening. That's why you're smart.
How do you get out of a draft?
Huh?
Is there a way to get out of a draft?
Be rich. Just don't go to jail. Like Muhammad Ali got drafted, and that's what Muhammad Ali went to jail for. Muhammad Ali, yeah, he refused to go to Vietnam.
What's the penalty? I guess I could look that up.
Well, I think he ended up doing 2 years in jail. Then he gave up his title, and then he was seen as a draft dodger, so people wouldn't fight him, and that's what made Ali the civil rights icon that he was. He was like nobody from Vietnam ever did anything to me. Nobody from Vietnam ever kicked me out of a restaurant.
This says it's a felony. And it is a fine of up to $250,000 and or 5 years imprisonment.
Yeah. Yep.
So they're gonna get you in the system one way or another.
Yeah, either that or you go down to Canada, go to Mexico, you run away. You get injured, right? That's the other thing. The people who are like, oh, my foot, my neck, my back. You know, Donald Trump escaped the draft because he's got flat feet or something like that. So, you know, the left tries calling him a draft dodger. Yeah. I sit and wonder, who's benefiting from this? Who keeps escalating these things? Nobody wants this. There's not a single person that wants this conflict escalated. Not a one. Outside of the people making billions of dollars off of this. Billions.
We got Brett Patterson in here saying, time to give SA some freedom.
SA some freedom? Second Amendment?
I guess.
SA. Second Amendment some freedom? Or it's not Julian Assange. Some freedom. Trying to give SA. The letters S, the letter A?
Yep. Time to give capital SA some freedom.
Yeah. Oh, Saudi Arabia. He's saying time to give Saudi. Yeah, Saudi Arabia got off the petrodollar. And now all of a sudden we're finding out these videos from 23 years ago where the Saudis were really involved in 9/11. It's like, oh my God.
And then we got Cosmo coming in from X, I'm sorry.
Yep.
The draft also gives a captive audience for the next round of experimental vaccines.
Ooh, interesting. That's an interesting perspective. Yeah, it's there's no doubt. I mean, once you're government, GI Joe, government issue Joe, you lose all your rights. You do what you're told. You sign on the line which is dotted and you lose your sovereignty. You are a government issue. You are a tool for the government to use as it sees fit. You don't get to say no. You lose the ability to say no, right? Whatever they want, you do. And if the part of that is experimentation, like who are these people at the top? And I always wonder, man, like, why do people think these are good people in charge? Like, do we not know what Operation Paperclip is, people? Do we not know? These are Nazis that we just gave new names. Some of them we acted like they were hung at Nuremberg. We didn't see the bodies. They come over here. They work in the highest levels of our government. Highest levels. And we're surprised that these career bureaucrats are some of the most awful people on earth. They don't care. We're peasants to them. Do you understand? You understand? Like everybody knows that these people kill other people. Like Boeing is like, and we let it happen. Boeing is killing whistleblowers, or at least what now the idea is that they're being bullied into killing them. Whatever. Like, guys, I mean, how much do we have to see? How much do we, like, I feel like it's crazy. There's so much to show us that this thing is so legitimately corrupt. So corrupt. But we just keep going along with it because what? I guess we don't know what else to do. I guess we just don't know what else to do. On a certain level, we all just hope it doesn't come to our doorstep, right? Is that the idea? That everything bad, at least it's happening over there. We're like dogs. When dogs hide and they only stick their head under the bed. Or like a kid who puts its head under the covers and is like, as long as I don't see it, it doesn't exist. As long as I don't look in the closet, the boogeyman doesn't exist. Is that how we're handling this? So what's the plan? Talk to me. What's the plan? Your sons, your daughters, your brothers, your sisters, their number gets called to go fight this battle in Ukraine. What are we doing? How are we doing it? Are they going? What has this government done? What has our government done over the last 20 years to earn your trust that forget your life, right? That's everybody has their individual decision to make on that. Someone that you love, your brother, your sister, your husband, your wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, their number gets called. Well, we got to go save democracy. 4,000 miles from home in a place that suspended elections. Zelensky's term is over. He's an illegitimate leader, right? You're going to go send people over there? Who's going to go? And if you don't go, who are going to be the people that round up the draft dodgers here at home? That's who I want to know. Like you said, Chris, it's 5 years and 250,000. What cop is going to round up a draft dodger? What MP? Well, then we really got some decisions to make, right? The call is coming from inside the house, guys. Yeah, Russia's got its problems. China's got its problems. But we have to clean up our house first. Before we worry about somebody else's yard, we got to clean up our yard. Our government is rogue. Rogue. CIA has gone rogue. The Justice Department, rogue. They are not working for us. They are working actively against us. If you are anything but a Democrat, a staunch Democrat in America, your government is adversarial to you. Your government censors you. Your government quiets you online. How much of our world is digital now? How much of the business that we do is digital? How much of our personalities and our brands are digital? And they just turn it off. They're putting you in digital prison. You are a political prisoner of your government. They silence you. They gag you. They make it impossible for you to do business outside of the digital world. If you can't advertise, if you can't boost, if you can't sell. They haven't apologized. They never will for being wrong. So many of us listening to this have been shadow banned, have been silenced, have been censored for things that have since been proven to be true. We were right. We were right. We were defamed and libeled. Conspiracy theorists, anti-science, bigots, racists, transphobes, you name it. And it turns out we were just right. We were disobedient. We didn't go along with it then, and we're not going to go along with it now. What's changed? I keep asking that question. What's changed? What's changed? People are taking their foot off the gas after the All In podcast. Trump did a great job on the All In podcast, and everybody now on Twitter is like, oh, he's going to blow Biden out. Why? What's changed? He's got a debate coming up. Trump's going to get swacked in the debate. Swacked. It's going to be 3-on-1. All the moderators are going to be against him. Joe Biden's going to get all the questions beforehand. He's going to get all the answers beforehand. They're going to pump him so full of freaking magic juice. Biden's going to win the debates, guys. And what has changed since 2020? I keep asking this question and nobody can tell me. What's changed? Have the laws changed? Are the ballot harvesting still legal? What's changed?
And Biden's running again, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually crazy.
Look at where Joe Biden is right now. Imagine him 4 years from now.
That's what I mean. Imagine him like 6 months from now.
Well, that's what people are saying, is that he'll run, he'll win, and then he'll step down right after he wins, which is like, okay.
I doubt it. He'll fucking stay there till he's
10% for the big guy.
Completely.
Biden is the perfect president for these people. If you got a comment, go ahead, read it out.
We got Brett Patterson coming back in just saying, you forgot COVID, order followers, follow orders.
Order followers, follow orders, and no doubt about that. There's just no doubt about that. And that's the scary part, is all of the people who questioned this lunacy, they flushed him out of the system. The people that have replaced those good, honest, curious humans they've been replaced by, left-wing crazy ideologues, right? So, yeah, I mean, look, if you play chess, you can see the pieces being moved on the board. You see what they're doing. It's fairly obvious, man. And if you're sitting here and again, this idea that like Trump's got it locked down, like why? What makes you think he didn't win the last one? Seriously. Biden didn't campaign. And there was this idea that like, oh, everybody hated Trump. Okay. 81 million people vote out of spite. Probably not. Probably not likely. Probably not likely that the voting machines all go down at the same time in 3 different states and come back with 400,000 votes all for the same person. Probably not likely. Probably not. But what's changed? Who's controlling this stuff? I know. I get it. This is a very helpless thing. It's a very helpless feeling. Because what can we do, Well, if they can do it, you can do it. There's no sense in playing by the rules somebody else won't play by. That does not make you noble. That makes you a sucker. You got to win. You got to win. Look, I'm no MAGA guy. If it were up to me, Thomas Massey, Rand Paul, give it to me. Maybe Tulsi Gabbard. I know people don't like her because of her fiscal policy, but it's all right. She's more freedom.
I got another one here from A Fabulous. Mm-hmm. They have rigged the game from all directions. What happens when they jail DJT and destroy anyone who protests it? If he makes it to the election, will it be free and fair? If somehow the people overcome the odds, how will his presidency be treated?
Well, those are like 3 different questions in one. Great question, EFAB. One, if he makes it to the election, I tend to agree with that. Although if he doesn't, then they can turn him into a martyr, and I don't know if they want that. All right, they'd rather like they. It's very obvious that the elites, the global elites, they're getting older, and they haven't been around normal people in a very long time. So they thought, like, for example, what happened in New York. Oh, Trump's a felon. They thought that would be enough, and then people would be like, oh God, he's a felon. I can't vote for him now. But it turned on the elites. It turned on the elites because they're not around normal people. They don't know how we feel screwed all the time too, and how we're like, okay, so this guy is a felon, but the homeless guy and the migrant that's pushing people in front of trains gets out without bail. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, we trust this system. No, this is fair. And the same thing. Oh, then you guys put Hunter Biden through a show trial. He's got 50 different things, and the one that you actually bang him for is the one that every right-wing person on earth is like, really? He lied about smoking weed on his gun application. Not leaving the loaded gun in a school zone. Not the influence peddling. Not that. Nothing to do with any of the multitude of international felonies, maybe even war crimes that are on the laptop from hell that you guys told us was fake. That you put people in jail for saying was fake. Just like the diary that says Joe Biden was showering with his daughter Ashley until she was 12. That was fake until you sued the girl for $1 million who had it. These people are evil, man. And Joe Biden is the perfect president for this modern Democrat. He's perfect because they want to put all their crazy shit out there in the world, but they know it's so unpopular. Every progressive idea, what progressive ideas are unpopular because immediately people are like, progressive ideas are popular. It's like things that are popular, you don't need to say it. Like everybody knows, like ice cream's popular. Nobody needs to be like, ice cream's popular. Pussy's popular. Very popular. Nobody needs to go around saying, this is popular. No, everybody just kind of knows. Don't need to sell that. That sells itself. But they go around saying progressive ideas are popular. No, they're not. No, they're not. What has our government done with our money where we're like, you know what, you guys need more money. If you just had more money, you'd really nail it this time. No. So Biden is the perfect fall guy because anything that happens good, they'll take credit for it. Anything happens bad, they'll be like, oh, we tried to tell Joe, but he was crazy. And he's going to die. And when he dies, he's going to take all their bad all their bad currency with him. He's the fall guy. He's the puppet. He's perfect. He's perfect. He is the perfect old white corrupt face of Democrat politics. And he hides, and he just hides. He hides behind any of the things that they really want. They just run out a black lesbian. They put her on the face of it. They put her on the cover of it, and that's it. Oh, you don't like it? You must be racist. Yeah, no, that's not how it goes. It's not how it goes.
We got Malco1 coming in saying half of America is felons, LOL.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, right? We're in a situation where we're getting into Soviet-style crap. Like, show me the man, I show you the crime. Like, what's a felony mean anymore? A felony used to mean something, right? Being a felon used to mean something. Now, all it means is that you're not a Democrat. They make us the criminals. They make you a criminal. And again, if they go ahead and do this, if they go ahead and make the draft, they implement the draft, now everybody in everybody's family is going to be, we're going to be trying to hide our own family members from our own government. I don't want one of you. I don't want one person watching this. I don't want one of your brothers, one of your sisters, one of your husbands, one of your wives, God forbid, one of your sons or daughters dying in Ukraine. Not one. It's bad enough that the enlisted active duty soldiers that we have, look at what we did to these people in Afghanistan. Look at what we've done. Now they're going to send you, your loved ones, for what? For who? We need to defend democracy. Putin's another Hitler. What? What? Let France go. Go do it. Have fun, France. Germany, go do your thing. You guys want to have a fight? Have a fight. Israel, Palestine, people get real angry. You know, real easy to get angry at Israel, and I'm not going to sit here and defending Israel. But nobody wants to talk about the fact that Egypt's not doing anything to aid the Palestinians. Saudi Arabia, Iran. They're using these people as political football. They like them right where they are. They want them, they want them suffering just as bad as Israel does. It's an open air prison. Why aren't any of the entire region of Muslim countries around Palestine helping Palestine? Because then they don't have a reason to fight Israel. We have to, this is a genocide. There's a genocide in Rwanda. The Uyghurs in China, second-class citizens at best. Political and religious refugees within their own country. Nepal, same thing. We don't care about that.
I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
A little off topic, but do you think a lot of these organizations are competing with each other, like government organizations like the CIA, FBI? Because when Snowden was on Rogan, he was talking about how they were competing for information about 9/11, and that's kind of what kind of caused it in a way.
I don't think competing is the right word.
They're not competing.
They're not. What they are not is they're not coordinating. They don't work together. They don't work together. They don't trust each other. It's the most telling.
But in a way, that's competing, though, right? Like in some ways.
Yeah, but what are they competing for? What, more money, more budget? No, they just. It's a dick measuring contest, man. They just don't work together. But really, what it is they don't trust each other, which should be the biggest red flag for all of us, just us peasant citizens, that the only way that these people work with one another is with the utmost caution. We should treat these agencies the way these agencies treat each other. The FBI does not trust the CIA. The CIA does not trust the DHS. The DHS does not trust the NSA. We shouldn't trust any of them. And again, we have to understand that the apparatus that beat the Soviet Union, that won the Cold War, that destroyed another superpower, has been turned on us, the American people. Our government is using the Patriot Act to spy on us, to censor us. Operation Mockingbird. Do you know what Operation Mockingbird is, Chris?
Yes. Operation Northwoods, Mockingbird.
Operation Northwoods is different. But Operation Northwoods is all you need to know about this government.
Mockingbird is CIA.
Mockingbird is the CIA working with news agencies to get around the domestic propaganda laws. It's amazing. You know, it makes me think, as a guy that loves history so much, how much of history is complete bullshit. If we can't even get right what happened the last 30 years, if we don't know what happened the last 4 years, with a camera on every pocket in America and a camera with everybody in the first world, and we can't get the story straight for what's happening right now, how the hell do we know what happened 1,000 years ago? You know, that this idea that Rome fell is very interesting to me. I've been reading a lot about this, and like the fall of Rome is very, very interesting. It's one monk. It's one monk that decided that Rome fell in 476. And the guy Odoacer who sacked Rome, quote unquote, was invited by the Senate to be there. Then he called himself king and made himself a vassal of the Eastern Roman Empire. And you're like, that's interesting. It's all very strange. It's all very interesting, the dynamic of it.
I got a good comment here. Vic is saying, if DT does get railroaded during this debate, hopefully Americans can recognize it and realize how unfair the game is being played.
Yeah, but at this point, like, does anybody think the game's not? At this, there's no changing minds. We're 140 days. We're 4 months, guys. 4 months, right? We got July, August, September, October. 4 months, and then November 7th. Here we go. 4 months, baby. 4 months to the fireworks. And they asked before, what do I think will happen? They're going to try to stop Donald Trump. They're going to try. They're going to do everything they possibly can. And if they can't, they're going to pivot to, I think, a cataclysm. I think they want to get this war started before he gets in, because they know he's not going to escalate. So they want to escalate as much as possible just in case he gets in. They want to put him in a quagmire that he can't get out of, at least for months on end. That's what I think. So they're going to rev it up, just like these bombs. And these people are like, but America didn't drop the bombs on Russia today. Ukraine did. Yeah, they were our bombs that we gave to them. If Russia gave Mexico bombs and Mexico dropped those Russian bombs on us here in Texas or Florida, do you think we'd want to hold Russia accountable? Or would we be like, yeah, you know, it's just Mexican bombs? No, I think we'd want to. I think we'd want to have a talk with Russia, right? That's what we're doing. We gave Ukraine the weapons that just killed Russians today. Our weapons killed Russians on an offensive strike. And you think the people in Russia, you think the Russian government's like, well, fair play. It was a Ukraine's fair play. You know what the average age of a Ukrainian soldier is right now? 44 years old, average age. We've helped facilitate the death of 2 entire generations of young Ukrainian men. They're rounding up men on the streets. The military in Ukraine is rounding up men on the streets, putting them in vans, driving them to the front lines. I shit you not, it's horrifying. That's defending democracy. These politicians, man, on both sides of the aisle, left and right like Lindsey Graham, left like Pelosi. They know they'll never, ever, ever get within 2,000 miles of anything dangerous. But they'll put all of us in danger. And again, no one's talking about it. Saudi Arabia goes off the petrodollar. Okay. What does that mean? Does that mean anything to you if the U.S. dollar is not the world's reserve currency anymore, Chris? Does that mean anything to you?
I know it's probably not good.
Well, everybody kind of assumes that, but they don't understand what that means, right? Credit cards. When you take a credit card, how much does a credit card? Do you get all that money?
What do you mean when you?
Your business. You take credit cards.
Oh, got it.
Do you get all that money?
When you accept the payment.
You do not get all that money. Credit cards, depending on which card and how much it is, they could charge you 3%, 4%, 5%.
Oh, like a processing fee? You mean?
Processing fee.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they charge the user interest to use the credit card, right? So one of the things that we don't talk about with our economy, with inflation, is that everything's on credit now. There's a 3 to 6% VIG on everything through the credit processing firms. That is what being the reserve currency is for America and the world. It's the closest way I can describe it. We are the world's credit card processor. We take a fee on everything, always. And we used to take it on everything that was shipped. We used to run the Suez Canal and we used to run the Panama Canal. And it's a toll to get through it. Just the same way it's a toll for you to drive through a tunnel in New York. I believe it's $100,000. You can look it up. It was $100,000 per ship that used to go to America. Now, China runs both the Suez Canal and Panama Canal. Every single ship, every single item that comes across the globe to America, there used to be $100,000. Now we wonder why things are so expensive. We wonder why inflation. Well, we're not the reserve currency anymore. And we're not getting those tolls. We are losing our stranglehold on being the world power financially. Bad policy. Bad policy. Hard to negotiate when you don't have leverage. Hard to get other people to do what you want them to do without being able to threaten their wallets. This is a remarkably bad thing. It's the biggest thing that nobody is talking about. If America loses its standing as the world's currency, now part of that is our ability to repay. We are the world's currency because, our word is oak. We say we're going to pay. We are the Iron Bank of Bravos. We pay. But it's not backed on anything anymore. It's not backed on gold. It's not backed on diamonds. It's backed on aircraft carriers. It's backed on our ability to defend ourselves. And every day that our missiles get shot down in Russia, every day that the countries we back lose to our enemies, everybody else looking at that goes, I don't know. Iran is 90 days away from nuclear weapons. All of this is happening. All of this is happening at one time. And it makes it very, very hard for you to think that it's a coincidence. This, to me, is pieces being moved on a chessboard. So what do I think is going to happen? If Trump is able to get in, I think they're going to pull the plug on the economy. I think there's going to be a cataclysmic reset. They've been telling us that they need to do it. Our economy is just propped up on credit. It's nothing. Our economy is nothing. They've been lying about the economy. They've been lying about the economy for like 8 straight quarters. They go back and look at it. Look at the M2. Look at they printed another 100 billion. They printed another 100 billion in the U.S. Treasury because they just don't have the money. There's less unemployment. No, there's not. You're lying. You're lying. We know you're lying. We see the numbers after you put out the press release of these great numbers that inflation is only up 2%. Yeah, it's up almost 20% in real inflation over the course of the last 2 years. But you're lying to us and telling us 2%. We just don't believe you at all anymore. We're waiting for you to go so we can see how bad it is. We know you're lying. We're waiting for you to leave so we can just get some sort of sense of, oh my God, exactly how bad is it? How bad is it? Like, is there any copper left? Did you guys rip all the copper out of the house? You squatters? Like, how bad is it? Is there shit all over the walls? Like, I just got to get inside and see how bad it is. And when we find out how bad it is, they're going to crash the market. They're going to crash the market to punish us for populism, for punish us for Trump. And they're going to make Trump seem like a monster. They're going to make Trump seem like he's an idiot and a loser. And that destroyed the economy. And CNN and all these guys are going to go along with it. And that's it. That's what I really, truly believe. They can't let them succeed because they've been so bad. Nobody has fumbled the bag more than these globalists have over the last 10 years. They had everything. They had everything everywhere. Klaus Schwab was up there bragging in 2020 that we have people in seats in every cabinet in the world. We have people that we want. We have people that are our people. Our young leaders are in every cabinet in the world. We have the whole G8. We have the whole G20. The top 20 economies in the world. All World Economic Forum people. They did up. They fumbled the bag. Everything that they wanted. what was it, $42 billion for high-speed internet? The government spent $42 billion, I believe. Joe Biden signed off $42 billion for high-speed internet for people in need. Not a single person after 2 years has internet. Not a one. How much money on high-speed railroad in California? I listened to the All In podcast. Man, these guys are fantastic. They're great. It costs 50 times, 50 times more money to build infrastructure in America than it does in China. 50. That's the cost of bureaucracy. That's the cost of unions. That's the cost of greed and corruption. What costs $1 million to build in China costs $50 million to build in America. It's $1 billion a mile for high-speed rail in America. $1 billion a mile. Unsustainable. Unsustainable. It's just complete. It's a robbery. But again, we have to sit here and we have to say, okay, there's one of two options, right? There's one of two options. We can either completely turn off and say, look, I can't fix it. I can't do it. La, 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 la. And just hope for the best. And you know what? The more and more I listen and I hear, like, yeah, okay, I'm all right with that. Go for it. Who cares? But then when people show up at your door, like, hey, by the way, you were drafted, you can't be like, what? Wait, what? You know, when your pension and your 401k is down 25% because they've tanked the market, you can't be like, what? There was no signs. Why didn't anybody let me know? The signs are there. The pieces are moving on the chessboard, guys. And I, for one, think it's better to know. And I think one thing that we do have on our side is it's very obvious these people are easily embarrassed. They have a remarkably high sense of self. They embarrass very, very easily. Keep the pressure on them. Look what happened with Kathy Hochul in New York, that governor. She got rid of congestion pricing because of how bad she looked in the tweets. She got rid of it. These people are very vain, and that's their Achilles heel. That's where we get them. Any other comments before we get out of here, Chris? Awesome, man. Well, guys, happy Sunday. Enjoy yourselves. Stay tuned. We'll be back on Wednesday. Peace.